Hey everyone, thanks for being tuned in to KPOV 88.9 FM, your high desert community radio in Bend, Oregon. This is Stacie Dread, Galactic Ambassador in the cosmic community. Our astrology program here on KPOV every Tuesday, 4:30 to 5 p.m. I am here discussing the week's planetary and lunar influences and how these energies may be felt in our day-to-day and how we may be able to work within these energetic cycles to live in more harmony with the universe and create a more benevolent life for all. So thank you so much for making time and space in your day to join in this lovely ceremonial time that we have together here. So, how's everybody doing out there? How are we? We are still very much feeling the energy from our lunar eclipse the other night. Did anyone get a chance to check that out in person? There are lots of pictures going around of the flower blood moon, and that was a spectacular sight. I have seen some lunar eclipses before, but this one was very tight and very much near an almost perfect exact point. So it was quite beautiful, and I hope that you got to experience that. If not physically, I mean, we're experiencing it within the energetics. And wow, what a sort of even overwhelming moment that was created that I personally was feeling and experiencing and seeing around me. And so, whatever is taking place and whatever is coming up for you and for the people around you within situations, it's totally perfect. These full moons are the point when the sun and the moon are exact each other opposite sides of the zodiac. And this is like the male and the female, the sun and the moon archetypes. And so we really get shown a lot about ourselves when this opposition is taking place between the sun and the moon. And of course, that happens every month. We have these full moons, but the eclipses happen when these two, the sun and the moon, are near the north and the south node, the nodes of fate, the nodes of destiny. And so then you get an eclipse, and it is like a full moon times 100. So there could have been a lot of emotion, and still feeling it, because we're very much you can still feel these eclipse energies a month out, sometimes 6 months out, until the next eclipses come, which will happen in 6 months. We will get another round of the Taurus Scorpio eclipses, and we will see what more to the story begins to build for us as we are working within these Taurus Scorpio themes. So if you have your birth chart available to you, you can check out your Taurus and Scorpio areas of your chart and see which houses these fall in, and you can see what themes you may be working with during the time when we have the North Node in Taurus and the South Node in Scorpio. What is near? What is there? We have the 25 degree point in Scorpio still being accessed by this full moon, this lunar eclipse from the other night. And Scorpio very much deals with the themes around death, rebirth, recycling things, putting things to an end, having closure within certain areas of our life. And this can very much bring up memories and triggers around loss, around things that we have lost in our lives, or things that we are afraid of losing in our lives. And this is a beautiful time because we can be shown some things very clearly during a full moon, as the sun is directly opposing the moon. This energy is created where we're getting basically a spotlight in this area of our life. And Scorpio deals with themes around taboo things, very much things that people do not usually want to talk about. Scorpio deals with those themes, not afraid to go deep. If you know any Scorpio people or are a highly influenced Scorpio individual, you and they are not afraid to go deep. Scorpio is very much the deepest energy in the zodiac. And so, if you are a Scorpio, this is a great time because you're not afraid of any of this. You're not afraid of the dark places. You're not afraid of the taboo items that other people may have fear or the inability to really look at. So this is a really beautiful time to really dive into that and to sort of try and use this Scorpio energy, as we all are 1/12 Scorpio. Our zodiac has Scorpio in it, whether or not there are planets or entities or points in the sign of Scorpio in your chart. I mean, it's still there and it's still being accessed. And so keep watching this because, as I say, we can feel these eclipses up to 6 months through on into the next eclipse cycle. And this is really transformational. This is a really beautiful time to turn and face the demons, accept the fact that some of these secrets that we've been trying to hide maybe are not so hidden anymore. And maybe these hidden things are actually things that need to be out in the open and need to be flushed out by the scorpionic waves of the ocean. Scorpio is a water sign and can very much wash these things out. It is a deep cleansing wash that we're doing with whenever we are dealing with Scorpio themes. And so turn and face it. And I encourage you to turn and face it and not be afraid of letting that thing be a thing and letting that thing be real, because whatever, is coming up for you during these cycles, and especially around these big eclipse points, it's powerful and it's something that is going to require your attention and very much deserves to be given love and attention and to be nurtured just like anything and everybody else. Stacie Dread, Galactic Ambassador, here in the cosmic community, 44444 on all my clocks here. And that first song that we played was 4 minutes and 44 seconds long. I didn't know that until I just stuck it into Megaseg here and noticed that a little bit of reggae music. Take me to the moon. Take me to the moon. I love that chant. I mean, that right there is like what I'm talking about. Take me there. Let's dive in. I don't want to ignore these things anymore. I'm ready to be my authentic self and to face the shadows within myself. So that's that is probably going to be the last time that I discuss in depth a Scorpio full moon for another 6 months. So moving along into a little more of the astrology taking place this week, we are deep in the midst of our Mercury retrograde right now. So I love that as I turned my page there's literally like maybe 1, 2, 3. There's a few words on this week in my planner, and I'm going, why are there no notes? Like, why are there no things that I'm focused on that I'm working on? I was like, oh yeah, wait a second. We're in Mercury retrograde right now. Like, I'm not working on anything new. I'm like going back and looking back on things and rechecking in on places that I've been, because this Mercury retrograde is begging us to do that and to take a look at some of the time that we've already been through. A Mercury retrograde began officially on May 10th and stationed retrograde at 5 degrees of Gemini, and is now moving in the backwards momentum, going to be stationing direct at 26 degrees of Taurus, not until the last day of May, May 30th, the second to last day of May. So that, sorry, I'm so mixed up here. June 3rd. See, that's Mercury retrograde right there too. Like making a mistake, realizing that you've made a little mistake and like fixing it like right then and there, because it's requiring our attention. So this Mercury retrograde cycle may be slowing things down a little bit. Maybe you've noticed that you're taking a little longer to like get out of the house and get your bags packed, or like you're forgetting extra things and having to actually turn around and go back places and like re-get your things and like get back on track. Or just having a hard time like really focusing on new projects, because as I was mentioning, our minds are sort of going backwards. Mercury represents our minds. So our mental capacity has sort of reached a max capacity. And as Mercury retrograde takes place, it's 3 weeks, by the way. Mercury goes backwards and we hit some of this old territory, and we go back and we review things, we redo things, we recalculate, we restructure. Basically a word that begins with RE is a retrograde activity. Redo, recycle, restructure. I think I just repeated myself, and that is totally the energy that we're working with right now. Maybe you're taking an extra long time to describe, things that maybe communication is sort of slowed down a little bit. It's a little harder to describe what it is because Mercury represents our communication. So we may be having, just a little bit of a slowdown. It's not like we don't know what we're trying to communicate or whatever. It's just like for some reason, like maybe tripping over or like going back and rewriting things, like you thought that you were going to send this great email, but then you realize that it doesn't actually say anything that you wanted to say. And so you're like erasing everything and starting over. And that's great. If you feel the need to erase something and start over during this time, it's a really good time to do that. It's begging your attention again to go back and have another try at that. The first round was not going to work for whatever reason. It didn't stick. It wasn't going to fly, it wasn't going to communicate what it is that you actually were trying to communicate. And so, stopping to smell the roses, to sit on the little park bench and look back at the trail at where you came. Notice some things about that process that it took for you to get to where you are, to the park bench. Sit, breathe. Breathe. That's a good one during Mercury retrograde. Sit and breathe and notice where you are, things that are requiring your attention. Notice just the way that you fit into a situation, and then turn and move forward. This time just requires a little more contemplation, a little more grounding. Mercury is in Gemini right now, and we have Mercury in the sign of Gemini until Sunday. And the sun is actually going to be moving into Gemini this week on the 20th of May. So we're sort of waving goodbye to Taurus season, of which is one of my favorites because I love spring and I love the first seeds that we get to plant in the earth. But Gemini season is well upon us this week, and so we may be feeling a little more of our mind, as Gemini is ruled by Mercury, that things are a little more mental for us by the time the weekend comes along. With Mercury actually stationing retrograde in Gemini, it's going to be an interesting Gemini season, and it may be some of the slower versions of Gemini season that we've actually seen as Mercury does the retrograde here. But Gemini season, it brings with it more thinking, more communicating, more thoughts, more writing things on the calendar, more scheduling things, putting things onto your schedule. It's a lot of this and that, and this, and then a little bit of that, and then like a little bit of this and a little bit of that. And that is Gemini for you there. It's an air sign. It's very much a mutable energy, not afraid to ask questions and to be curious. Gemini is the sign of the twins. It's the only sign that's actually represented by two different things, the twins. So two different people. I mean, it's twin humans in the pictures that you see, but anything that comes in twins, this and that, peanut butter and jelly, salt and pepper, you and your BFF. I mean, this is like the time to, really notice that sometimes things come in twos, and we're already talking about this retrograde season, having us repeat ourselves. And in Gemini season, we do that anyways because it's represented by not one, but two. And so that's a really cool thing about Gemini. And also, these people are wonderful at interviews because it's a one-on-one relationship. It's a conversation between two people, the air in between two things. Like Geminis are really inquisitive and they love to ask questions and gather information and compile information and be the keeper of that information. So, Gemini season beginning on the 20th of May, and we'll be feeling that energy for the next month. Mercury will be working its way back into Taurus by Sunday, and so we are going to be figuring out some more of these last minute things that we're doing with this Taurus energy. It very much could still be ruled by the sudden energy, the electric energy of Uranus that is hanging out at about 15 degrees of Taurus right now. So with the North Node and Uranus in Taurus, we could still be experiencing a lot of sudden things, a lot of sudden change, sudden movements, things changing really quickly, all of a sudden, because these are archetypes, these are symbols, these are things that come along with Uranus in Taurus. These are ground-breaking situations. These are earth-shattering, movements. This is when the lightning hits the dirt, and the energy that is felt by that. So until the sun and Mercury move out of Taurus, these are going to be definitely still themes that we're feeling. And yeah, I mean, that's kind of the energy of the week. It must be, because I requested a most benevolent outcome to let the message that was most needed come through in the program today. So I hope I hope that this has been helpful, and I hope it makes sense a little bit. There is one more thing that I want to point out real quick in the last minute and a half of the show, is that today we're having Mars conjunct Neptune. And I did talk about this in my program last week, so you can actually go to kpov.org and look up all of my archives from the past year of my show. But you can listen to last week's show, and you can hear this week's show again when this one gets posted by our automatic program there. But Mars conjunct Neptune, this is very much, to me, the energy, and this is happening in Pisces at 25 degrees of Pisces. So look in your chart, what is there, because there's something there that the way that this is coming through for me is that Mars is our physical body, and Neptune and Pisces represent basically everything bodiless. And so we could be having this feeling like we want to get out of our body. We want to be bodiless. And so whatever, that represents to you, I would just be kind of careful about it, because it could be, I don't know, I just think that it could be a little confusing, so just know that whatever you're feeling and what your physical body is feeling right now, and if you're in discomfort and if you are feeling nervous or anxious at all about anything, just know that you are not alone, and that we're all subject to these energies, whether or not we listen to the astrology reports. So be kind to yourself, nurture yourself, take care of yourself in the way that you need to be taken care of. Do not be afraid to reach out for help if you need it. There are people that are so excited to help you if you do need to, talk to somebody about anything that's going on. Mars conjunct Neptune, it can be almost like let's just, drink a bunch, let's just smoke a bunch, let's just take a bunch of whatever, and like get out of our body and out of our mind. So, make sure that you're choosing healthy ways to do that. And that's it for the program today. Thank you so much for listening to the Cosmic Community. This is Stacie Dread, Galactic Ambassador here. I will talk to you next week. Peace.